Is this in the Old Testament or in the New Testament? Think about this. It says that all nations will worship him. So if this is a reference to the Messiah, as Daniel was referring to, and as Jewish folks who believe Messiah has yet to come like to refer to, who is to come, is to be a political figure, some say. So nobody wants to get too supernatural or spiritual, but according to Daniel, he's expected to be worshipped. So that's a little awkward, okay? So here it says, in my vision at night I looked, and there before me was like the Son of Man, coming out of a cloud. He had approached the Ancient of Days, which I have the Bible verse coming up next, who that is. It defines him as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and was led into his presence, which I think should be a capital H in my opinion. And so this being, the Son of Man, goes into the presence of the Ancient of Days. He was given authority. You can see in the verse before this, which I'll show you, the Ancient of Days is all authority. He has given authority to the one who approached him. He was given glory and sovereignty, sovereign power over all nations, peoples, every language worshipped him. This can't be a political figure. His dominion is everlasting dominion that will not pass away. Well, a political figure's dominion would pass away, and his kingdom is the one that will never be destroyed. Well, what could that be? Unless it's heaven coming down to earth. There's also a reference here to the footnote at the bottom, saying that this is a reference, of course, to Jesus, because it's in the Bible, that I'm finding this footnote, so that's not lost on me. But here's the thing. There are two groups of people. There is a group of people who are Jews and Jewish in the Old Testament who say, oh, Messiah has yet to come yet. People with this mindset still exist, and I love them. As you can see in my videos, I really have a passion and a heart for the Jewish people. And they're still waiting for Messiah, but they like to say he's a political figure because they don't like the supernatural edge to it. There's no way that Daniel's talking about a Messiah that could be just a political figure. It could only be Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ. And then in the New Testament, you have a group of people who are Jews and Jewish who know the Messiah has come. And it's based off not their own presumptions or just what they've seen, not just the miracles or the miracle that happened within them, but based on the Old Testament and what it says about the Messiah who's to come, the direct description of him. Here's the description of the Ancient of Days. Thrones were set in place, and Ancient of Days took his seat. His clothing was white as snow, and the hair on his head was white like wool. His throne was flaming with fire, and its wheels were all ablaze. A river of fire was flowing, coming out from before him. Thousands upon thousands attended him, which I think these hymns should be capitalized. I'm sorry, they're just really distracting me. 10,000s of 10,000 sat before capital him. The court was seated, and the books were opened. This is interesting because in the book of Revelation, it speaks of books being opened, and the court was seated. It's like almost, I think this is reference to time. I'm not really sure, but this is who the Ancient of Days is. This is a few verses before this being, the Son of Man, approaches and gains authority and power. Who could that be? But this is also woven together like a really great movie when you weave something together that's really powerful, kind of like that movie I watched last night, with something sad. It really peppers things out and makes for a complicated feeling. This is peppered with the beast that will rise in the last days. And he happens to be, this beast that rises in the last days is a political figure, okay? And he demands for people to worship him. So there are people who are of two different groups, two different mindsets from the original tribes. The ones that believe whatever's coming, the Messiah will be political, which happens to match the Antichrist. And then there's the other group that knows he already came, and his name is Jesus Christ. This is Linda of Christ is King Forever, because he is King. May God be with you.